vision's crystal clear. I can see far, I can see near, I can see everywhere. I can see if you can see it, or if you lack self-esteem and really need it. My vision's 2020. Right now I'm focused on the money. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jamil. You are here in the inner circle, and today I'm here with someone who I am blessed to call a brother, a friend, a comrade, a confidant. My boy Shaun Witness Woods. What's going on, brother?
What's good, bro? How you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I can't complain, man. It's a beautiful day in Danville, VA.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So we here to talk about Shaun's album, man. Shaun got a new album coming out. What's the name of the album, man?
The album is called This Ain't As Bad As You Think It Is.
This Ain't As Bad As You Think It Is. All right, now, what's the story behind that album title?
Okay, so the title comes from my grandfather's, like, the last words that I can remember him saying. We went to the hospice to see him. I think it was maybe like 2 days before he actually transitioned. And he was just sitting there, and, you know, everybody was just standing around. And he kind of looked up, and he was asking us if we was okay, you know? Everybody was like, yeah, we're good, we're good. And he was like, you know, this ain't as bad as you think it is, you know? I don't know, it's just something about, like, him saying those words while he was dying and him being that strong. It just made me look at it like, you know, it makes no sense for me to be weak while I'm living, you know? And it's also like there's a lot of duality in a lot of things. So even like if you look at death, you know, a lot of times when we go through like not actually like the literal aspect of dying, but something has to die in order for something to live.
That's right. That's right. You gotta destroy the veil, right?
That's it.
Yeah. So we kind of jumped a little early. How long you been into music, man? Tell us about yourself, brother.
So I started writing 11.
Okay.
Yeah, I started like writing and rapping a little bit when I was like 11 years old.
All right. So you seasoned in the game.
Yeah, something like that, man. You know, then everybody in the family does something. Like on my mama's side, you know, everybody sings or plays an instrument. My dad sings. My grandfather, he actually wrote them songs. So
it's all a talented family, man.
Yeah, it's just in the bloodline, man.
Word up.
Yes, sir.
All right. So if you had to sum up the message of this album, what would you say it is?
I think I'm trying to think how. At the end of the day, I mean, it's you gonna go through something, you know, and by saying this ain't as bad as you think it is. It's like when you first initially start to go through trials and tribulations in your life, you just look at it like it's the worst thing ever. A lot of it starts with, you know, maybe childhood trauma.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That you may eventually go through, hopefully heal from. And, you know, you grow older and you might start to feel like you are, quote unquote, living your best life. But you still end up going through something.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just having an understanding that in life you're gonna go through something, but you know, having a sense of direction or just being, you know, planted or grounded within purpose. You know what I'm saying? Having a relationship with the Most High. You know, you'll be able to get through it.
Okay, so this ain't no little baby. That's in
That was not the approach this time.
Yeah, you know, this is a thinking man's album right here,
Yes,
bro.
sir.
Yeah, man, this grown folk music right here, bro. Like I listened to it, man. I listened to it before we started recording. I listened to it again, man, and it's a solid album, bro.
Right,
like I've listened to a few of your albums, and like this might be one of my favorite personally.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I definitely see the growth in, cause you can rap, period. Like that's not a question here. I think there's growth in maybe just you as a man.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
that translates through the music. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the evolution.
Yeah. Yes, it's you know, over time, you know, you go through a lot of things. Music for me has just always been like everything.
Yeah.
You know, everything from what I've done for recreation, just having fun with just putting words together. You can say it's my ministry or my purpose as well. But also it's been very therapeutic for me. And not only, I realize it's not only me, but also for others.
Yeah.
So it's my approach to music a lot of times is almost as if though I'm the therapist, but also the person on the couch at the same time.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of people, we go through a lot of the same things. A lot of people don't necessarily want to open up and express those things, but that there are people such as myself,
right?
Just such as yourself as well,
right?
Who come to be like the representatives for those people and be able to, not only express the issues, but also if we have the solution, be able to give that to the people that are going through the same things that we are. So I'm very, very aware of that, and I handle that with care.
Yeah, Yeah, that's the burden of the artist, right?
Right.
And that's nothing that you shouldn't be handling with care. That's a hefty responsibility right there.
Absolutely.
Especially for you, because you're a Christian,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna call you a Christian rapper. I don't know if you do.
When people do, I don't be like, no, I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm gonna say this. A couple of years ago, when it came to the Christian genre of music, they was having this thing of are you a Christian that's a rapper, or are you a rapper that's a Christian? Yeah. And I just what difference do it make? You know what I'm saying? You playing with words.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I do that, so I know it doesn't make it. That really doesn't make sense. I think that people have a tendency to allow the title to put them in a box as far as how they express. But I think that with being Christian, we should openly express in all areas of life. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's if you want to direct people back to the solution, if you only touch on 2 or 3 subjects, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be somebody be like, okay, well, I guess that ain't for me. Because, you know what I'm saying? So.
Okay, so would you say that when you first started, all right, so you say you've been rapping since 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you always done Christian rap?
Absolutely not.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely not.
So when you decided to start doing Christian rap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you find yourself in that box that you just spoke about?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. When I first started doing Christian rap, I was literally trying to make sure that I didn't offend the mothers of the church.
Yeah.
Which made no sense at all because they weren't going to listen.
They weren't listening. Yeah.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
wasn't for them.
It wasn't for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when I first started, I was big on making sure that I didn't say certain things. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like a Jesus checklist. I gotta make sure to say Jesus 12 times.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and given in the time that I was doing it, you know what I'm saying, it served its purpose. It was for who it was for. But after a while, I just as I actually started to grow in the faith and just mature as an adult, as a man, I started to realize if you go to scripture don't hold back.
Yeah.
It's what
it's
for
real.
You know what I'm saying? To let you know directly what was going on. So it's I started to deal more with the reality of my life, the things that I've been through. Of course, with my rap name being Witness, a witness ain't a witness unless it testifies. So if I'm not telling my testimony, then I'm not even fulfilling really what the name really means.
That's real. That's real. So was there a moment that something switched in you? It was okay, I need to start doing it this way rather than what I did before. Was it just a gradual type of thing?
I think it was more so a gradual. It was a gradual type of thing, and I also started to notice that the music that I did, in which it was more testimonial. That was the stuff that that people were gravitating to more, you know. And like I said, I just started to really have an understanding of why I was doing what I was doing, and it just kept going back to a witness ain't a witness unless he testifies.
Right.
I just kept hearing it over and over and over again. So I'm like, okay, I got it, you know.
All right. So I want to get into this album a little bit, man.
All right.
I want to play a few tracks, and if you could just tell me where you were when you were writing this, or not physically, but like mentally, break down, you know, whatever you feel needs to be break down. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but I'll play it, and you can just give us a little feedback.
Okay.
This gon' start out, but a shout out to my teacher, Miss Birch. You deserve to be mentioned in this verse. We're the first to encourage me to create by your it's time to go in. Roots of MC by way of the A now. Listening big now. They moving like the A in my
This is the intro.
My dreams begin now. This part of the South got something to say now. Race round dudes with scripture text that don't pray that will get at you. They pray with the E, not the A now. They put the block before faith, shout bishop, and they look for pop before chicks now.
Alright, boom. Alright, so again, that's the intro to the album. Tell us a little bit about it. What's good?
Okay, so I've had this thing since I first started listening to hip hop, right? No giving, so I gotta give you some backstory on what I say. So how I started the album off, I give a shout out to my teacher, Miss Bertram.
Yeah.
In her class, I want to say this was 7th grade. This was 7th grade. So like I said, I had been writing. And part of the reason why I actually started writing was because, you know, as a child, I went through a lot, saw a whole lot. You know, we come up in that era of, you know, child is seen, not heard.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? No speaker that you spoken to. So a lot of things I just kind of like held in, you know. Then the more and more I started to listen to hip hop and stuff like that, from listening to lyrics, you know, on the tapes and rewinding, writing the lyrics and stuff like that, kind of starting to see how people were putting together their formats and different deliveries and stuff like that. So I started writing myself. So I first started like writing raps, you know. But in the 7th grade,
Was it scientific?
it wasn't even scientific.
Okay.
Yeah. My name back then was D Smooth.
D Smooth, let's go.
I hadn't even got a scientific yet. You know? But like, so in the 7th grade, Miss Birchall, we had to do a poem. We had to do like a piece, write a piece. So I wrote a piece, and like she went crazy about it, right? The piece was about, you know, being an educated black man and being America's worst nightmare, you know what I'm saying? Because my pops had me listening to stuff like NWA, Ice Cube.
I was gonna say this is 7th grade right here.
Bruh, you know what I'm saying? He introduced me to Malcolm X, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was militant. You know?
Word up. Yeah.
But she was ranting and raving about it. She was like, this should be published, this is great, this, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at that point, I started to take more of a poetic approach to writing. You know, it started to help me to develop more of a style that was not just, I guess what you would say, like kind of kiddie at the time, but I started to explore more things like, you know, like metaphors, similes,
Right, yeah.
and, you know what I'm saying?
The art
The art
yeah.
aspect of it, yeah. So just being more creative, you know what I'm saying? So that's what that is. I wanted to go ahead and give her a shout out early in the album because she is the the reason for it, but also give the listener an understanding of where we about to go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be a little different than what you've heard before. It's more of an artistic overtone over everything. You know what I'm saying?
So which album is this in your discography?
This is, let's see. My fifth.
You got albums over there.
That's my fifth.
It's your fifth one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, fifth joint, man.
All right, boom. So you want to tell you anything else about that?
Yeah, so okay. So from that, just letting you know, just setting the tone that like, yeah, we finna go on a ride, you know what I'm saying? But I've always looked at how people establish themselves in hip hop, right? And take Illmatic, I'm always gonna use.
Yeah, of course.
After knowledge. But it's like so you take Illmatic and you can listen to that album and close your eyes and feel like you're in New York. You know what I'm saying? You listen to the Game album, you know what I'm saying, or Kendrick's Kid Mad City. You feel like you in LA. You listen to the Infamous album, you feel like you in Queensbridge. You know what I'm saying? You listen to, let's say, like a UGK album or, Outkast. You know what I'm saying? When you listen to these people, they actually fully embody where they're from, or at least give you an idea of what it feels like
from their perspective. Yeah.
So I've always been big on making sure that when I make music, that you know who I am, where I'm from, what I'm about.
Okay.
Over the past couple of years, I'm sure since I made the transition, I struggle with being able to fully do it. You know what I'm saying? Because of like, I don't want to do that because this
ain't gonna sound right.
But this time around, I wanted to really establish all of that. You know what I'm saying? I think I did a good job.
I think you did a good job too.
I think I did a good job. So I just start off by letting you know what I'm saying, where I'm from, and pretty much the album just starts there and just gives you the mindset of a person from here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you little bits and pieces of, things as far as like what we go through.
Okay. There's one track you had a disclaimer. We'll get there.
Yeah.
A disclaimer. This is not promoting.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna say when we get there, I'm gonna tell you something crazy about that.
All right, man.
Yeah.
And that's a dope track too. But that ain't this next one. This next one is LISTF. Tell us what that means.
LISTF stands for Love is Stronger Than Fame.
Love is stronger than fame. This is Love is Stronger Than Fame. Let's get into it.
One day I'm know what living your dream about. I promise I'ma figure this thing out. And that's on my mama. This is something that I constantly think about.
Yeah. Boy talking.
Growing up, I used to confuse arrogance with confidence. Cause insecure people teaching they synonymous. That man in the evil seed of the beat of my consciousness that made me welcome failure but be scared of accomplishments. Eating tough from the road, couple of times intense life scientific. You done gotta hit the rhyme against. We call you solid high rank. If you push your good music, you can be big, Shaun. That's common sense. Your rhymes addictive like dope, but a different kind, yeah. Plus you spit songs to a T on a Taylor beat. You don't make it cheap. Your flow will make them listen. Cause most creative fictions sell their soul so they can fit in that mold and hovers over those below the Dixon. You mold the shit, no vision, and cultivate the culture. Hey, you could have left it overlooking shows, catching looks and flows, but I took the road to the greater mission.
We gonna let the hook rock.
There's a brain I can try to play. It makes it glamorous, so I see many stars. But so far, it's just time to go insane. Love is stronger than fame.
Alright, boom. Love is stronger than fame.
Yes, sir.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so like I said, the album is a journey. So right there, I'm really going into like dealing with certain things from being a child and different traumas that I went through or whatever. But also discovering that I had a gift.
Yeah.
As far as my artistic expression, and my friends like just basically like, bruh, that's what you need to be doing. But it's wilder. Cause even like when I was younger, I had an understanding of not confusing expressing myself artistically or allowing my gifts to make room for me with being famous and, you know what I'm saying, just being blinded by the lights and the glitz and glam. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you recognize that they don't have to necessarily be the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can actually like you can be successful
Right.
within your gifts. You know what I'm saying? Without having to go to the big party.
That's right. Yeah. You ain't gotta get your car blew up.
You feel me? Like,